We begin this broadcast with a news alert coming in Colombo. While protests are still raging on the streets, the Prime Minister Ranil Wickremesinghe is now holding a cabinet meeting. Earlier, President Gotabaya Rajapaksa, who had fled the presidential secretariat, sent a message to the Prime Minister's office saying that whatever decision is taken during the party meeting will be acceptable to him. Wickremesinghe is likely to discuss a swift resolution to a potential power vacuum since the president has fled. The current Prime Minister, who is next in line of succession if Rajapaksa resigns, also invited political party leaders to join the meeting. The protests, however, are growing with each passing hour. Protesters are demanding President Gotabaya should step down immediately. Now, our correspondent Dasuni Athara from Colombo has been tracking all the latest updates. She has been reporting on the Sri Lankan economic crisis and now she's bringing us live updates through the day. Let's listen into her latest report.
While the party leaders' meeting gets underway, Sri Lankans eagerly await the final decision made by this party leaders because President Gotabaya Rajapaksa has now made his intention clear to the Prime Minister that whatever decision is final and definite at this party leaders' meeting, he is ready to accept it. That's not all. Protesters still continue to flock the area here in Colombo, who have been walking on foot since morning, demanding for President Gotabaya Rajapaksa, along with the Gotabaya Rajapaksa-led government, to promptly step down. Stay with WION as we give you the live developments as and when it happens. Reporting from Colombo, I'm Dasuni Athara.
The crisis-hit island nation of Sri Lanka is currently on the edge. Just hours after the curfew was lifted, thousands of protesters hit the streets of Colombo. The country is now witnessing one of the largest anti-government marches. The anger among the people has been swelling for months, and today it has reached its peak. Angry protesters holding Sri Lankan flags broke into the presidential secretariat. There were thousands of them. The protesters first surrounded the secretariat and then clashed with the police and forcibly made their way into the president's house. The Sri Lankan police fired tear gas at the protesters, attempting to block them, but failed to do so. There are thousands of demonstrators who came to Colombo, packed in buses, trains and trucks across the country to express their dissatisfaction and utter outrage over the government's failure to protect them from the economic ruin. Pictures and videos from inside the secretariat and outside are being widely circulated over social media. At least 21 people, including police personnel, are injured in the ongoing clashes between the police and the protesters. And some were hospitalized following the ongoing protests. Once the frenzied demonstrators entered the president's house, they were seen running around in the corridors. Many of them barged into the bedrooms and were seen lying on the beds. Several of them also entered the kitchen. They did not stop there. In fact, hundreds were seen in and around the swimming pool in the premises. Some even dove right into the pool. Sources now confirm that President Gotabaya Rajapaksa was removed from the official premises on Friday for his safety ahead of the planned rally over the weekend. Among several viral videos seen on social media, there is one from Colombo port, which allegedly shows the president's luggage hurriedly being packed into a Sri Lankan Navy ship at the Colombo port. Some shocking visuals right there. Now, for a better understanding about what's happening on ground and what it means for the political future of the current president and the Prime Minister. We are now being joined by Zulfikar Farzan from Colombo. He's a senior journalist and manager of News First in Sri Lanka. Thanks so much for joining us. My first question for you, this is definitely unprecedented. We've been tracking the economic crisis in Sri Lanka on WION, but a protest of this scale has not been seen on the island nation. If I may say so, complete disregard, chaos, pandemonium. We are seeing protesters go right into the presidential secretariat, dive right into the pool, even lounge around in the bedrooms. What lies ahead at a time when the president himself has fled?
Thank you for having me. So right now we do not know the whereabouts of the president, but we do understand that the parliament speaker has called for a very important party leaders meeting, but notably the main opposition factions, that the Samagi Janavalaveja, led by opposition leader Sajid Kurotasa, is not taking part in this meeting. They have refused to be part of any meeting that's been called by Ranil Wickremesinghe, who they claim has no legal right to be the Prime Minister. However, the party leaders are meeting under the auspices of the Speaker of Parliament to immediately decide on establishing a stability, political stability in the country. Now, this meeting comes just moments after one of the key bodies of legal fraternity, that's the Bar Association of Sri Lanka, calling on the Speaker, the Prime Minister, and the Cabinet and the parliamentarians to immediately establish political stability in the country. They say without political stability in the country, that it will lead to total chaos in the country. And they have also urged security forces also to exercise restraint. Now, what we saw today was something unprecedented. We never witnessed this kind of a protest so far, but the build-up was taking place. The 9th of July protest build-up was taking place. Over the past few days, multiple campaigns took place on social media, and it even forced Sri Lanka police to impose an overnight police curfew, which some challenge is not even legal. But nevertheless, even before the curfew was lifted at 8 o'clock this morning, thousands of Sri Lankans from all over the country were, with no public transport available at that time, was actually walking almost 30 to 40 kilometers to Colombo to take part in the protest.
Right, that actually is a sign, Zulfikar, about the anger on the streets in Sri Lanka. Of course, the economic crisis has been ongoing for a while. Prices have been rising for a while, and it's become essentially an island nation of queues. People have been queuing up for hours for essentials like fuel. But at a time like this, the Prime Minister, Wickremesinghe, the newly appointed Prime Minister, is holding a cabinet meeting. The President has clearly said that he will follow what the party members say. What does that mean, essentially? I'll repeat my question, Zulfikar. My question to you is that Ranil Wickremesinghe is currently holding a cabinet meeting while the President, Rajapaksa, has asked him that he will follow whatever the party wants him to do. What does that mean, if you can tell our viewers?
So what that basically means is the party leaders will have to decide on the future now. Now, this whole thing has been mounting up ever since the whole economic crisis began, since we went on default, when the country went on default with unable to pay its debts. Now, the Mahanayaka Thegos, that's like the main Buddhist clergy in the country, have urged President Rajapaksa since early June that an all-party government must be formed and that the president must resign. And that is a sentiment that's being echoed right now. Even today, the Mahasangha, that's the main Buddhist monks in the country, and other political groups and civil organizations all stepped forward and said, look, it's time for the president to resign, and it's time for the president to step down, and an all-party government needs to be formed. Now, the formation of the all-party government is something that is being discussed widely between many political groups in the country. And notably, one important aspect that happened yesterday with regard to a all-party government is that the Senkatagala Declaration in the Central Hills, formed by all religious leaders, was signed yesterday, and the religious leaders stepped forward and are urging the government to form an all-party government for an interim period so that the people's issues can be solved. And following the interim period, that is 6 months or more, following that period, an immediate election should be called for the people to elect their representatives once again.
Absolutely, Zulfikar. Thanks for those inputs. I'll request you to stay on this broadcast with us. We'll continue to track this story. I want to get your opinion in on another story, another update to this story, in fact. Let's move on. Sri Lankan cricketers have also tweeted supporting protesters and against the Lankan President Gotabaya Rajapaksa. The legendary cricketer Sana Jayasuriya tweeted, and I quote, "The siege is over. Your bastion has fallen and people's power has won. People have to have dignity to resign now." He adds that I always stand with the people of Sri Lanka and will celebrate victory soon. Meanwhile, Kumar Sangakkara also tweeted a picture of the protest saying that this is for our future. Our correspondent Dasuni Athara sent us more details about this development and what the cricketers are saying. Listen into her inputs.
While the nation eagerly awaits for a decision from the party leaders, protesters continue to infiltrate every location surrounding the president's house, the presidential secretariat, and the location I am at right now, which is right opposite the official residence of the Prime Minister, the temple trees of Colombo. These protesters aren't backing down, and their message is clear, that they will continue to protest until President Gotabaya Rajapaksa promptly steps down. Stay with WION as we bring you the live developments as and when it happens. Reporting from Colombo, I'm Dasuni Athara.
WION World is now available in your country. Download the app now and get all the news updates on the move.